Welcome back, boys. So this is a video focused on just analysis of United and where they are right now. So the first point I want to talk about is the manager, the most spoken about talking point probably this season. I think that a lot of people are very hesitant to be Ollie out, and you find that a lot of people are Ollie in, which I guess is justifiable for some of the reasons that they give. Um, yeah, so I mean, he is a club legend. He did stretch out his leg in '99 and got us that, the treble. So he's one of the best, definitely one of the best bench players coming from the bench, like super subs. He's he's he his understanding of the game and the instruction that Sir Alex Ferguson gave him was just executed perfectly, and I think that's fine. He's a player that is a club legend for that reason. But in terms of being a manager, he doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't have the tactical prowess. He's he's literally fed off of positivity in and that's what's brought him that speck of success in his first 6 months in the club. So yeah, I think it's a very worrying thing that a lot of people are not only out. And I think big club mentality is that if the manager is not pushing the players to get the results, or if he's just literally just not getting results at all, then he should leave. He should get the sack. Um, we've seen Mauricio Pochettino, a decorated manager in terms of what he's done at Spurs, and also the decent job that he did at Southampton, get the sack during the week, and you're thinking that only a big club would do something like that, because Pochettino has taken Spurs from a mid-table side to a top four side, and he took them to the Champions League final, and that's a huge achievement. And Oli is nowhere near that. Ollie's pedigree as a manager comes from the relegation battle with Cardiff that he lost anyways because Cardiff got relegated, and some sort of success in the Norwegian league at Molde. But in terms of just serious pedigree, he's he's literally got nothing. We've got nothing to work on. On the pitch, we're not seeing something that we can trust. We're just blindfolded and going into this blindfolded. So I think that he should get the sack. He should be replaced by a manager who actually knows what he's doing, who tactically can get the best out of the players, and not just spring positivity and get them to perform based off of positivity, but also when confidence is low, they are able to raise the level and actually use their qualities to get results. And I think that only a great manager, or at least a good enough manager, can do that, and I don't think Oli is that guy. The other topic, or the other thing that is spoken about, is getting Oli as a director of football, which I still don't get. First of all, he's not a director of football. I don't know if he would accept that job, but knowing him as just he's basically obsessed with United, he probably would, even though he knows that he doesn't have the qualifications for it. He probably would take the job, and I just don't think he merits the job. I really don't. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the qualifications for it. And it's funny how football fans will expect in their workplaces to work with competent people who are qualified, who have the knowledge, and who can actually do the job. But when it comes to football, that flies out the window. That's not important. Whereas it's still a job that requires a certain skill set and requires a certain level of competency. So it's really just, it doesn't make sense to me that you would not want a director of football or a manager or just people in your club that are competent. If you look at uh, Liverpool, Liverpool have just the most competent just backroom staff in the world. I mean, their manager is a tactical genius. He can get the best out of those players, and bearing in mind that Liverpool have a very limited squad. It's just the A team and nothing much really after that. Yes, they have a few key players like Ox and Milner, who probably arguably is part of the first team, and Origi. Beyond that, they don't even have a backup keeper. So yeah, like they have a very limited squad in terms of depth, but their manager is just getting the best out of the group, and he's doing the best with the players that he has. He has very good players, very fair enough, but he's just surrounded by people who are making his job worthwhile and somewhat easier. And also, Liverpool have a stats team that analyzes players before they actually sign them. So their recruitment department is good. It's really good. It's full of competent people, and just like overall, the club just oozes competency, and you see that on the pitch. And I feel like a club like United oozes the lack of competency, and you see that in the playing as well. The type of recruitment, the players that have come in, the wages that they're on, how they're not easily moved out, and just not being able to replace big players. Like losing Lukaku was a big thing, losing a goal scorer. Yes, he doesn't fit the philosophy of the club in terms of what the manager in Oli wanted from a centre forward, but you replace those players. You can't just let goals leave the club and not replace them. And I think it's a gamble to trust in the youth. It really is. Big clubs rarely do that. It's a very bold thing, and ideally you would work them into the club and work them into the squad of players who are good, and surround those developing players with players who will be able to nurture their talents. But to bring young players into a squad that is lacking is just abysmal to me, because their growth is very limited. They don't have people around them to help them in learning their trade. So yeah, it's a very strange thing to experience at United. Um, but anyways, I just think that Oli should get the sack, replace him with a manager that's competent, and he's definitely not the biggest problem at United. The board is obviously the problem. They are the ones who hired him. It's not Oli's fault that he was given the job, but the board need to take responsibility of their actions, because obviously they won't sack themselves. They won't say I'm not competent, but at the very least get people who are working the football department who are competent, and give them the job so that you can look a little bit better. It just makes sense to penny pinch and in the long run lose money makes absolutely no sense, whereas you could spend money now and in the long run gain more money. Because the truth is that the longer United go without success, the lower they will drop in terms of financial revenue, and just like standing as a club, stature as a club, they'll drop. But if we start picking up success, then that goes out the window. Then we're turning, we're making progress. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on United at the moment. If Poch got the sack, Oli should have been out the club 2 months ago, because there's nothing to hold on to. But either way, I'm just gonna give my opinion on who's going to get sacked next, and I think if it's not Silva, it should be Emery, because I would say Silva, but I'm just struggling to figure out who would want to take on the job at Everton and whether Everton does have options. But on the other hand, I think Arsenal do. I think Allegri could go to Arsenal easily if he's not interested in the Bayern job, and if Bayern are interested in him. And apparently they're looking at Arteta, Pep's assistant. So and he's played at the club. I'm not sure about him being a club legend, but he probably would look to that job and see an opportunity for himself to just make a name for himself. So yeah, that's been the video. Boom. Cheers.